Buying PC case fans can get expensive, especially when you're working with a large case like this. But what if I said there was a budget alternative that got you the top, side, and bottom fans for $120, and that those fans were aRGB compatible, support 4-pin PWM, and have interlocking daisy chaining to simplify cable management? Well, here they are. These are the CF-121D fans from LTC, and coming in at only $40 per 3-pack, these might just be a budget game changer. But let's take a closer look and go over the pros, the cons, and of course, performance. But before we do that, full disclosure, LTC did send me these fans for a review, but the opinions included in this review are mine. Right, so like I said, these fans sell for $40, and for that price, you get a 3-pack of fans in either black or white with aRGB, 4-pin PWM, and interlocking daisy chaining. Anyway, here they are straight out of the box, and all these translucent sections are designated for RGB, which means these have a lot of RGB. There's actually even a rectangular ring of RGB on 2 of the sides right around this reflective area that would otherwise probably be an infinity mirror if these weren't $40. There's even rubber anti-vibration gaskets on all 8 corners covering the front and back to help minimize, well, vibrations and any unwanted noise, which means some thought was actually put in to make these not only efficient, but quiet too. But that falls under performance, which we'll get to soon. Now, compared to other more expensive fans with infinity mirrors in the centerpiece, SF-121D features more of this pseudo machine finish and exposed bearing screw, which in my opinion doesn't look bad. It actually looks better than the backside with this ModFly logo. I really dislike this cursive logo. I'm just bummed there isn't an LTC logo on the back because their logo actually looks pretty rad. Like here, looking glitched out on my wrist rest. This would be a sick logo to have on the back of these. I wouldn't even be tempted to scratch the sticker off. Now for what's included, aside from the 3 fans, you also get 12 short screws for bolting directly to your case, or 12 long screws for bolting to a radiator. Oh, and 1 power connector. Snapping these bad boys together is pretty simple. Just start with the power connector by lining up the slot and slide to align until flush. Repeat this 3 times for each fan. My example held together real nice and snug without so much as a wiggle from the connectors, which is good. You don't want the fans wiggling or flexing at all because this could damage the connecting pins. With the fans assembled, let's swap them into the PC. Since I only received 1 set of these for a review, I figured the best place for them would be the side, serving as a radiator intake fans, which means I have to look at that cursed ModFly sticker. The fans they're replacing are these basic RGB Lee & Lee fans that came with my case. So aesthetically, these are absolutely an upgrade. Aside from the sticker, the LTC logo would look so much better. I would have preferred to replace some of my Cooler Master MF120 fans since the majority of them have lost RGB color purity. I mean, seriously, look at these whites, off-whites. The 2 that are accurately white, yeah, those are less than a year old. Behold your future! Actually, their future is getting replaced altogether, possibly by more of the CF-120Ds. After removing the basic Lee & Lee fans, the CF-121D bolted right in and already looks so much cleaner on display without any cables streaming off from their sides. Meanwhile, the backside of the case isn't as organized as I'd like, being that there are still 7 other fans and cables stuffed back here, but that doesn't mean the CF-121D didn't simplify cable management. In fact, I was able to remove 2 sets of cable splitters, which may not sound like a lot, but I could tell it wasn't as difficult to close up my back panel after installing these. So much cable. Now that the fans are up and running, let's talk performance. The CF-121D are 120 by 120 by 25 millimeters. aRGB is 5-volt powered with 3-pin connection, and the fans themselves are 4-pin PWM, meaning their speed can fluctuate per motherboard commands either to speed up or slow down depending on temperature readings. They have a max airflow of 70.23 cubic feet per minute with 30.4 decibels for a noise level. Rotation speed can range from 800 RPM to 1800 RPM, and it features 9 blades per fan spinning counterclockwise. Unfortunately, I can't perform a temperature comparison with the CF-121D versus the old Lee & Lees because between installing them and now, I learned I needed to make some temperature adjustments to my Volcanic 5800X. But after making some adjustments, my PC does run cooler. Not to say these fans played any part in making those positive changes, however, I will say these fans do an excellent job maintaining the current temperatures. For instance, when my PC finally chilled out and idles, I can see temps plunge as low as mid-30s Celsius, or jump up to mid-70s to low 80s when playing some Fortnite. I'd be very curious to see how 3 sets of the CF-121D perform, but for now, they seem to at least play their part in keeping my PC nice and cool. Oh, and sound-wise, they're about as loud as my Cooler Master fans. Now earlier I said these had some cons, and I want you to be aware of them. First, these are only offered as 120mm, so if you prefer running larger fans at a slower RPM, unfortunately, you're out of luck here. Second, and this is the big one, you can't purchase these separately, nor can you use them separately. So let's say one of your fans go out. You can't buy one fan to replace the faulty one. You'd have to buy a new set for $40. Also, if you have a smaller case that can only fit 2 fans, that detached third fan is unusable because you can't buy connectors separately either. In my case, I'll run into this issue because I have 10 fans. So I can buy another 2 sets to swap out the top and bottoms, but I won't be able to have one of those in the back, which sucks. But these did only come out back in March of 2024, in case you're watching this in the future. And maybe in the future, LTC will start selling these as single units, or maybe they'll add 240mm sizes. Who knows? And here's hoping. But for now, those are the main cons that come to mind, except for that cursive ModFly logo, but I mentioned that already repeatedly. Those things aside, I do like these fans. I mean, you can tell they're more budget, mainly by the pseudo machine reflectors, or whatever you'd call it. I'm not the biggest fan of those. No pun intended, but I don't really notice them too much as I'm oftentimes more on my PC at night after work, so things are darker and they almost always appear blacked out to me, but the rectangular ring of RGB around it still looks good. In fact, all the RGB looks good. Colors appear bright, vibrant, and stable. I don't see any flickering. And not only do they look good, but they seem to work well too. So do I recommend these? For the price, $40? Oh yeah. I'm seriously considering getting another 2 sets to complete my PC. I just have to figure out what I'll do for that 10th fan back there. But otherwise, I think these are a great bargain, especially since they offer interlocking fans. Usually anytime I have to work on fans, it's a pain in the ass, because all the cables become a rat's nest. These made it easier, and I know, having 2 more sets would really cut down the cable management bullshit. So yeah, I think they're worth it.